Welcome to the Resilience Podcast, where we embark together on the journey of transforming childhood trauma into growth and resilience. I'm Amandine Mas, a survivor of an ignored traumatic childhood. I spent 30 years in traumatic amnesia, which began to lift in 2020, revealing acute post-traumatic stress disorders, which also means that there is a new life after trauma. That's why I became a trauma-informed coach, specializing in releasing buried childhood emotions to guide you on this adventure toward inner freedom, no matter your past. I'll see you right now for a new episode of Resilience. Hello and welcome. So as I shared with you in the previous episode, a release of childhood trauma can last several months, even years, as was the case for me. So why is that? Because we often feel embarrassed, ashamed of the emotions resurfacing. We find it difficult to ask for help, and sometimes we don't ask the right people. We first seek allies in our family, since that's where the trauma was created, then with our partners or best friends, as they are the ones who know us best. And sometimes it hurts. We regret it. It can be a tough moment to realize that the people we love the most are the ones who have the power to hurt us the most. We have given them this power and we don't know how to take it back. Our loved ones may, for example, minimize what we confide in them and say, for example, that happened a long time ago. You should move on. They may ridicule our emotions and say, you've always been a drama queen. Or they even may completely deny the existence of our trauma. In any case, we feel disappointed, lost, even re-traumatized. We come out of the illusion. Suddenly, we don't feel understood or truly believed. And inevitably, the shame and guilt inherent in childhood trauma surge up. Yet, it's precisely at that moment when the vault of our childhood emotions open that we most need to act, to ask, to be supported, to speak, and to be believed. And if we cannot share our strong emotions with trusted individuals, we may isolate ourselves further in avoidance behaviors, addiction, or submission to others. If this is the case, self-esteem is further compromised and the situation is once again blocked. Yes, it may feel like going back to the beginning to regress, but that's not the reality. We are simply facing the widespread denial of society and family towards the word trauma and its emotions that are real. So my message for you today is that if your past emotions resurface, it means that you have already made significant progress on your path to resilience. It's an important step, even if it's still undervalued by our competitive society. Expressing yourself, expressing these emotions, or simply writing them down in your journal, talking about what you're going through, freeing your voice can change everything. And if I'm recording this podcast, it's because I have often faced denial. I have often felt discouraged and neglected when the people I chose to confide in, especially in my family circle, were not equipped to listen and help me. If I'm recording this podcast, it's because I've been through this situation dozens of times. until a particular day when family denial went too far and I could finally break free from it. It was January 13, 2023. My mom had come to visit me in Asia for the first time. We were on vacation together on Phuoc Island in Vietnam, enjoying a glass of wine in a beautiful, tranquil resort. And that's when she naively opened the conversation about a very sensitive and taboo subject, childhood sexual abuse and its heavy consequences on the lives and health of so many adults. Like all of us, unfortunately, Mom has many friends who were abused and devastated in childhood. She started sharing with me the details of a friend of her whose life is painfully affected by this betrayal that shatters so many childhoods. This person has suffered in silence all her life because the acts were never acknowledged by her family. Mom launches into detailed explanations to make me understand the hell her friend is going through. A hell I know all too well, but that my mom apparently has forgotten. At that moment, my whole body freezes. My body understands what my mind doesn't want to comprehend. Heavy tears stream down my cheeks as Mom gets up to go to the bathroom. I quickly dry them. I don't want her to see me. I know she will tell me I'm overreacting. But my body decides otherwise. It explodes without warning. My tears keep flowing. It's as if they had been waiting patiently for this moment to open the floodgates. When Mom returns, she's angry. I'm running her vacation on the other side of the world. So I shut myself away in my guilt of being too sensitive, too emotional about this sexual trauma that occurred 35 years ago. I'm ashamed. I head to my room and I'm going to stay there for 2 days. It's in this bed, in this bungalow, that I'm going to be hit by what my intuition has been telling me clearly for 35 years. Neither my mother nor my father have seen the pain left by this rape that tore me away from my childhood when I was 5 years old. I always knew it, but I believed them. For 35 years, I didn't trust that little voice deep inside me. Out of loyalty to my family, out of love, or rather out of sacrifice, I chose to endure double punishment. First punishment is the assault, the traumatic event itself, which deeply disrupts the body, the brain, the relationship. And punishment number 2 is the family denial, which multiplies the shame and guilt of the child growing up thinking is their fault, that they are worth less than others. My parents were not ready when my trauma occurred. They were not emotionally mature enough to welcome a little girl wounded by life and scared in her deepest intimacy. Like many parents, their brains dissociated from this too sad and violent reality. It's a proven fact, right? In the majority of early traumas, family are not aware of the consequences of their denials, considered by doctors as emotional neglect. Our loved ones didn't see that following the trauma, we grew up in constant fear that we tried to hide behind many masks, that this fear never went away, that it remained stuck in the body. And in adulthood, pain is an alarm signal. On January 13, 2023, when Mom worldly triggered my buried emotion, I retreated to the depth of my bed to try to suppress them again. That's not what happened. On the contrary, it's the moment my body and brain chose to communicate to me what I had forgotten through flashes, muscle contraction, tremors, and intense emotions like fear, grief, confusion, and panic erupting from my chest like rockets. I couldn't see the images of my soul because I was too young when it happened, but I felt the emotions and sensations as if I were there because they were intact inside me. Everything was still there. So that day, unexpectedly, the truth bursted out. My trauma, invisible for 35 years, became visible, obvious. Everything I always wanted to avoid for fear of disturbing had just exploded. Everything my family superbly denied was revealed. And there is like a new anxiety arose, like, what will they think? Will they still love me? What if I disappoint them? This part of me, this child in me who was afraid, told me it was the end. But in fact, it was just the beginning of my new life, my true life. Deep down, I must confess to you, dear friend, I was relieved. A part of me was waiting patiently for this, while my loyal part to the family was struggling to hide everything. Deep down, I knew it was going to happen. I unconsciously prepared for it, at least the highest part of me. What if this were the perfect opportunity to let go of my burden? What if this revelation would change my life for the better? And you know what? That's exactly what happened. Since that day in Vietnam with my mom, I feel free to slowly express who I am beyond fear. Since that day, I feel free to slowly fulfill myself beyond the shame and guilt of the trauma which were exacerbated by the weight of family silence. Thanks to the support of relationships I have chosen that provide me with safety, whether it's my partner, my friends, or my therapist, have been writing more and more. I've been sharing, speaking, learning, coaching, facilitating, supporting other people, transmitting on this podcast, on my blog. I can't stop being me anymore. And inside me, everything is slowly reorganizing, right? I'm learning how to find clarity of thought in my brain, how to create freedom in my body, or how to anticipate consciously my emotions before they explode, how to develop my capacity for consent in my sexuality. But that's not all. The most amazing change is deeper. It speaks of reconciliation, dialogue, and compassion with that child still alive inside me. I increasingly nurture affection for this little girl who has been so wounded and so brave all these years. And it's with her that I can write, speak, translate my research, and turn it into an expertise, the liberation of buried emotion from childhood. So yes, my pain was hidden. My pain was a secret, but it's not anymore. Today, I'm no longer ashamed of what happened to me. By expressing my inner world to trusted individuals, I have freed myself from family loyalties and regained my integrity and dignity. It's like the pieces of the puzzle of my life come together to reveal a beautiful image of me. As the forgotten fragments of trauma resurface in my consciousness and reassemble in my brain, I become whole again, grounded, present, and consenting. The truth is liberating. Expressing our childhood emotions with trusted individuals is like disinfecting an abscess in order to clean and close it. And this disinfection of suffering creates a deep and profound sense of relief. So when this time is right for you, know that it's possible to release what hurts within you, to stop self-destructing and sacrificing yourself, to extract yourself from those endless states of depression, addiction, codependency, loyalty, pain, and chronic stress, which are nothing but bugs in your system that were created and accumulated many years ago. You are not alone. There are millions of us around the planet hiding our emotions from the past so as not to disturb people around us. So what if we helped each other? Mutual help is exactly what we need, right? Because we understand each other. Because, the fact that those around us have turned a deaf ear doesn't mean that we have made everything up, right? And it doesn't mean that our post-traumatic stress disorders will stop. It means that we need to talk to all the people more qualified to listen to our emotions, or a little bit less close to us, maybe less anxious to see us change, to see us heal or evolve. We need to remove our mask with insecure relationships based on trust, compassion, and support. This is what we deserve. And this is the case, for example, in therapeutic or coaching relationship. Trust, compassion, and support. Because we need to be believed 2000% in order to, at our pace, bring consciousness and meaning to what is resurfacing from childhood. The goal of this step is, above all, to believe in yourself and to create a life story, a new life story that respects you instead of crushing you, that reduces your shame and increases your compassion for all the parts of you that are still traumatized. This is a crucial step when you can finally let go of your childhood burden, right? This is like a lock breaking gently and gradually, revealing a new door in front of you. And for that, it's very important to be well surrounded and supported, to listen to the voice of that child within you, to accept what he or she has experienced, and to believe him or her above all. This will allow you to welcome a new and resilient you, to soothe and integrate your past consciously, to open a new chapter of your life, your post-trauma life, which holds very beautiful surprises for you. This is what we will do together in the next podcast. But in the meantime, I'm here for any question in the comments below, or on my social networks. I invite you to share your testimony and reactions following this episode to help our community of resilient souls reconnect with their truth. And I also invite you, if you're ready, to book your free consultation with me to see together how trauma-informed coaching can help you find your best solutions, which are already within you. I'm with you with all my heart in your liberation and new life, and I'll see you very soon.